the holiday last week and we had a very busy weekend.
Mm.
And my husband, when he's home from work, it's really hard to separate and have like my own time unless I get up super early before he gets up and because it just seems like we always have something going on.
Okay. Um, do you calendar your days at all?
Yes.
Okay. So you're in a growth phase, right? Like you're in a big growth phase right now. Um,
Right.
that's requiring a lot of energy and it requires a lot and you signed up for two things, right? And so it's like there's a lot of moving parts. There's also the part where when you're in a growth phase and you signed up, right? I don't know what her mastermind like I would imagine it's more of like the logistics, the structure of business and things like that. And then so you've got that you're doing, right? And I'm sure she
Yeah.
does amazing accountability. I can only imagine it's amazing. And then you've got the other side where like this side, the journey of me is so much about like the inner work and who you're being and the energetics and loving on your vessel and like all the things. Um, your subconscious brain is going to try to avoid that growth because so remember, sabotage is subtle. So the way that we self-sabotage is really subtle. It's like we don't have time, we're overwhelmed, and it's really valid too. So I'm not saying what you're doing isn't valid. I'm not saying that like you feeling like you don't have time to show up to either one of these as much as you would like. That's also true, right? Like, and it's true because our subconscious brain is like, well, we're so busy over here, so we start to fill in spaces with, or we get distracted with things, or there's always something going on, right? Because we would rather stay in the familiar than jump into the unfamiliar and do the work, which is going to change you, which is not what the subconscious brain doesn't want you to change because it very much knows this routine. And so it's like it's not about beating yourself up. It's just about acknowledging like, okay, my subconscious brain is probably playing tricks on me a little bit. I probably can find some pockets here and there, but I have created an environment where I feel like I can't. And it's so valid. Like, and I share this with you because I do it too. Like, I'll be like, I'm so busy. And before I know it, 2 weeks have gone by and I haven't done one thing on the thing that I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, oh, that's my that's how I'm subtly avoiding the very thing that I need because of what it's going to like require and who I'm going to be on the other side of it. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So it's like it's not about being hard on yourself about it. It's just about like could this and just and it might not be, but just stay open to like could this be a little subtle sabotage? Because like because also there's also this part too of like sometimes we feel like we shouldn't have things come easy to us because we have to work hard for them. So then we create circumstance where I have to work hard. When in
Hmm.
reality, like you actually, this doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't mean that it doesn't feel like work, like it like there's
Yeah.
not I think there's this misconception that the opposite of hard work is just laying back and receiving. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's like
Hmm.
there's work and there's energy and there's investment involved of your energy and your time, but you don't have to work hard to like earn more, for your business to start to really take off.
Right.
There's two sides of that. And so just like that might be something really great for you to journal on is like, okay, and do like a stream of consciousness journaling where that's literally where you ask God, come in, take over, and you put your pen to the paper and you don't stop writing. But the question is, where am I self-sabotaging? And so just start to write. I could be self-sabotaging by not showing up, by being in the overwhelm, by kind of always, every time I wake up and my husband's home, there's something to do. But you just stay open to that. And then you wait until literally something else will take over. It's like your higher self, your angels, God will take over and it'll start to reveal to you what the real message is. But you don't let your pen leave the paper until you've like written quite a bit, and it'll be scribbles. Like you'll be writing so fast probably that you won't even know what you're writing, but you'll retain it. Um, and then even like let's say you don't know what to write, then you just go into like the sky is blue, the grass is green. I don't know what to write. I'm having a blank, but I'm not letting my pen leave the paper until I figure out what is happening right here. And maybe nothing will come through. And maybe something will come through, but the more that you do some stream of consciousness, the more you open up that channel for God to be like, hey, this is, and for your subconscious brain to like reveal this is what's happening. And then
Okay.
every time you feel overwhelmed, I want you to go into this mantra. I turn overwhelm into overflow. So that way you don't start to feel like you're being compressed by the overwhelm, but instead you decide to be empowered by it. Like, I'm going to turn this overwhelm into overflow. So what do I need to do today? Pray. What is the next thing I need to do, God, today to turn this into overflow? And that might be telling your husband, you're fine. That might be telling your husband, babe, I can't do this right now. I've made a commitment to myself to do 1 hour here or 30 minutes here, or I need 10 minutes where I drop in and do this thing, whatever it is. You
Right.
and just like what and just stay in that. Like, what is the next best step? What is my hit, right? Intuitive hit, do that. But it just we get really tricky with ourselves. And that like little self that sabotage. I don't know if you've listened to that lesson yet of subtle self-sabotage, but it's so subtle. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
like big, like we don't come in and wreck our houses. It's literally and we wake up late, we miss an appointment, we forget to email a client, right? It's all these things because things will start to take off. It's all these little ways that we honestly, today, probably a lot of the women aren't showing up because they're in resistance to something. And so it's easier to be like, oh, well, I didn't finish the lessons. I'm just not going to go to the last call. So they're in a little bit of sabotage. And that's okay. Like everyone gets to be there. I do it too. Right. And it's like, it's easier for me to see in you because because I have the outward view. Just like I need mentors to be like, Fallon, do you see what you're doing? I'm like, oh, I am doing it, right? It's like it's so nice to have people that you trust that can like come in and lovingly like reflect back to you a potential.
Yeah.
Not that we're right, right? Like only you know your truth. You between you and God, like you know what's true. So you might go through this process and be like, I actually don't feel like I'm sabotaging, but I do feel like something else. So
Mhm.
don't ever take like my word or anybody's word as like you find your truth in it, but that's just my reflection back of what could be happening.
Yeah.
The working hard. That some I do feel like that for you potentially. Um, that you feel like you have to really work hard to earn something, like you've got to pay your dues. And I want to remind you, you've paid your dues because you were a teacher for so long, right? Like
Yeah.
dues don't just start with a new thing. Your dues began when you began like, and not even that we have to pay dues, but if you need to restructure the perspective, your dues have already like you pay them as we go. It's like my business that I started 10 years ago has very little to do with what I do now, right? But it's like I don't every time I kind of have a new iteration, I don't have to start back to ground zero. You already have this amazing foundation, of hard work, of showing up, of being committed. And so I want you to integrate that of like, wait a second. I'm not at ground, like it might feel like I'm at ground zero for this iteration, but I don't have to be. And picture the foundation that you've already built. And like picture the leaping pad that you've already built. And you have such a strong why, Amanda. Like your why is so strong in the sense of like, you know that you can lead people better than the example that you've had. You want to genuinely help people, right? So you keep leaning into that of like that why and that you don't have to start from ground zero. Your dues are paid. And yes, it's going to require effort and energy and showing up when you don't want to. That's a big part of, right? Like of this stuff, but it doesn't have to be hard, like gritty work. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah, it does.
Does it
Does.
resonate?
It does. I feel, you hit on a good point because I do feel like I'm starting over and it's like brand new and even though I've been doing it for a year now, supposedly full time, um, it just feels like there's no comfort of like um, things are flowing.
Yeah.
I'm telling myself they're flowing, and I'm telling I'm living in abundance, and then I'm saying all the good things about money and about this helping people and it just hasn't it doesn't feel like it's there yet.
Yeah.
And and I had a meeting with another financial coach on Friday. And my husband and I sat down with him and just like, kind of picked his brain about a few things. And I really, I've heard from you and I've heard from Taylor and a couple other people. Every time I talk and do kind of a coaching call or a little, sit down one on one, that everybody's like, you should be charging for your services. And, and because I feel like that's why I got into this. I got into financial coaching to coach, not to sell life insurance, not to sell annuities. That wasn't even a blip on my radar when I said yes to this. It
Yeah.
just kind of came with the territory with this company. And so I'm starting to think maybe I do need to structure myself a little differently. And set up some things that would require, some people to pay if they want certain level of service with my coaching. Um, I don't want to turn anyone away, but also I can't do an intensive coaching
No.
without getting paid, especially if they're not buying life insurance or some other product where I would get a commission on the other end, to make it worth my time. And so, I've heard that and I've been hearing it and it's over and over. And I know when you hear something over and over and repetition happens, it's like, okay, something is,
Yeah.
I have to listen and I have to feel this. And so now that's kind of like, I know I need to block out time to figure this out. I know I need to, you know, figure out how I want this to look to where it's not like any other coaching,
Even even
that's, I don't know. I
even
just have
if
to
it is,
figure that out.
even if it is. So like if you look at like my models, you can find another coach that we have the same model.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter because
Yeah.
the way that I work is going to be completely different than the way that coach works. And the right people that are meant that God's like, I need you to learn from Fallon, because that's who you're that's who's going to either push you or you're going to resonate with or is going to hit the holes that I need you to fill.
Hmm.
Fallon is the one I'm going to send those clients, right? Like God's like those, and then there's going to be a whole other set of clients that God's like, I need you to go learn from Amanda because she's got the things. So don't worry about being so different because you already are in your energetic frequency. Just like
Yeah.
your fingerprint. Your fingerprint we all have our unique fingerprint. Your energy, your voice carries a frequency. All of that is already unique. So you don't have to like reinvent the wheel in that regard, but you do get to charge for access to your energy. You do get to charge for access to your knowledge, right? And so it feels weird to charge. Trust me, I went through this too. It feels so weird to charge when it's something that is so innate that you could just give. That's
Right.
exactly why you charge, because you didn't used to be that way. How much time, effort, and energy did you pour into learning and going through the bumps to teach yourself to find this, to do this? So then I get to pay you to tell me the things so I don't have to go through all of that,
Yeah.
right? Like, especially with what you do. Like, like all the things, like, so for my business, there's a lot of studying I've done in the last 20 years. A lot. There's a lot of inner work I've done. There's a lot of different coaching I've done. There's a lot of courses I've taken. I mean, there's so much that I've done that now you guys get to come in and learn from me so you don't have to do all the things that I did. That's true for everybody in business.
Yeah.
It's true for not just me, it's true for everybody in business. And so, especially with what you do, I don't want to pay to figure out financial stuff when I could just have somebody tell me. I could have somebody come in, look at it, and be like, oh, this is what I see. This is how we could fix this. This is how you could get out of debt. This is how you can save up for retirement. Why do I want to go spend all that time and energy to figure that out with YouTube videos and when I could just pay you to tell me for, an hour to 2 hour intensive?
Yeah.
That, like, do you know how much value? And that's what I want you to embody of how valuable that is. That you're going to come in and you're going to make somebody's life easier. And people pay for it all the time. They go through McDonald's. Sure, it's low cost, but it's easier. And mind
Yeah.
you, McDonald's is bullshit, but whatever.
Yeah, I get it.
People pay for house cleaners. We can all clean our own house,
Hmm.
but it makes your life easier. Right? So it's like don't forget that like you coming in and really genuinely helping somebody with their financial legacy, they get to pay for that. And when they do, you're honoring this energetic exchange. It's like I could run the journey of me for free all day. I could do it. I love it. I would still show up for it. I love it. I could do all my stuff for free, but it takes away. I was just telling a client about this the other day. He's opening up a coaching practice. It takes away the necessary energetic exchange. So it's like when there's an exchange, then the other person paying, it automatically opens up something. So it's not uncommon for when a client invests in my work, they already start to like their life already starts to change just through payment. And it's happened to
Mhm.
me. I've paid for high-end services before, like coaching before, and my life already starts to like, oh my gosh, because there's something in the energetic exchange of investing in myself this way.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, God is like, oh, let's open it up for her because she took the leap. Let's start to, it's not, it happens all the time. So you never know what you're actually taking away from somebody when you don't take payment. You're taking away,
Mhm.
and it's imbalanced. You can't just give for free
Right.
all the time. You could, but people don't receive as well for free. I mean, think about it. We get free, there's free shit, lollipop. We don't care, right? Because it's a lollipop. But let's say there's another free service. You don't care as much. How many
Mhm.
free classes have you signed up for that you didn't show up? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's free master classes all the freaking time. You don't care. And it's probably still amazing value. Like my free stuff still is jam-packed with amazing content and things that could really help you on your way. But most people don't take it. They sign up for it and I get their email address, cool. But it's when they step into stuff like this, then it's like, oh, I paid for this, so I better like do something with it, you know?
Right.
And so, okay. So how long are your intensives normally?
But what do you mean?
Like, so
Like,
you like if you were to coach somebody, how is it like an hour?
um, it depends. Like an initial, it could be almost 2 hours,
Okay.
um, depending on the needs. And sometimes I can break that up into 2 sessions, if, but follow up and such would be, an hour, I guess.
Okay. So let's say you didn't break it up into two sessions. Let's say you just did an intensive with somebody. Would you plan on about 2 hours?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm going to recommend. Don't break it up. Keep a minute.
Okay.
Keep a minute. Don't be over accommodating. And I say that to say we over accommodate and over please, and then people become disengaged. Keep
Mhm.
them in your energy. Keep them in the right like this for 2 hours where you can show them and if it's an hour and a half, then whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
fine. But what's a price, an investment that feels good to you to charge for that?
I have
That feels
no idea. Like
what do
and
other
that's kind of, and that's what I need to research. Like when I was talking to Seth, he said, like he's done like $100 an hour.
yeah.
Um, and I just don't know. Like I really, I guess I need to research what most coaches, not because for me, I feel like I don't know like. I don't know
And it has
what I
nothing
would
to do
charge.
with what you're worth. Okay. It's just like, because we can never charge our worth.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, I'm worth this. No, you just decide a freaking number and you just work to embody it. Um, I wouldn't charge less than $100 an hour.
Okay.
I really wouldn't. And so something you can do is, it's a 2 hour consult, it's $200. If you decide to move forward, you get a $100 credit towards your first statement, if that makes you feel better, right? But that means they decide in the 48 hours. Like that, then you've got to make a decision in 48 hours. Like I'm big on like giving people some time. I'm not like, you have to decide right now. But there's got to be
Mm-hmm.
some of a time. So, I mean, I don't even know if that's something you can do in your business, but let's say you charge them 200, they're like, yeah, I want to move forward. Awesome. Or you get a $50 credit for moving forward today. So I'll take so it's really 150 for the session.
Okay.
So that way, then it's like an incentive to sign up. So they feel like, oh, I got the intensive, but now I'm moving forward. So I kind of get a credit, right? It's like girl math. People love that shit. We all,
Yes.
so, and if they don't, then it's 200. And you don't know what seeds you planted. I have had people do I have had people do sessions with me and I don't hear from them for another 6 months. And then they come in and then they start working with me because you planted a seed. So you just have, but thank God I charged for that, hour session because if I would have just done it for free and then they disappeared, who knows? But you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's about your time and energy and the access to your knowledge. And so what I want you to do is don't make it so hard. You don't have to sit like you and I could sit down and figure this out, the structure of this easy all day. I do this with my clients all day in business. I'm like, well, what do you want it to look like? Let's do this. Let's not make it harder than it needs to be. So I think right there, 2 hours minimum. Don't break it up. Don't give them a lot of options because it gets overwhelming. Like think about even the call options I give you guys, 4 options, that's a lot. All of you,
Hmm.
I don't know, right? Then so think about like if you give them like, oh, you could break it up into 2 sessions, or oh, I could do this. Right? They're like, whoa, just tell me what I need.
Yeah.
And you just decide the way, and that's how I do. The way that I work is you sign up for one session, it's up to 75 minutes, it's $200. And then if you decide great, you want to move forward, amazing. If not, then like you'll get recording. I'll give you a bunch of homework and things you can work on over the next month.
Okay.
Okay. And that's the
And
same
that,
thing you. It's like give them financial homework. Like you're gonna get
yeah,
financial homework either way. You're gonna walk away with new tools, and then but your energy needs to embody like what a boss bitch you are at it. That's it. And that's the work.
yeah. Now, since I am like selling insurance and stuff with that, should I like make if a discount if they have to buy insurance? Like if they need the life insurance, I'll get paid for that. So like I feel like if they're including that in their plan, their financial plan, because it's needed and they're taking that step, that I should give them some kind of discount on my coaching.
So yes. I don't like the word discount, but that's just me. But that's just because I've done a lot of sales work. So, and I'm always working on sales work because
Yeah,
it's not a sticky game, it's just an interesting game to learn, but we're always selling. I,
right.
I mean, you're selling like if I tell you, if you're like, hey, what mascara do you use? Oh my God, I love Telescopic L'Oreal, right? Like we're always selling something. We're just not always
Mhm.
making money at it. So yes, and that feels like that's what feels like integrity for you. Like if I'm getting money on the back end for this, then they shouldn't be kind of like double paying. That's the sense I get from you.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
And
kind of
yeah,
what I feel.
yeah. So then I would just say, okay, so because and you can tell them that. Like if you end up deciding on life insurance, that will be, depending on the package, that will be discounted off of your um initial session. Yeah, absolutely. I would do the same thing. If I knew I was getting money on the back end, I would want to pay it like that's working in integrity. And it
Yeah,
doesn't have to be the full amount. You know,
right. I was
it
thinking like a month or two premium, their monthly premium discounted off, so like,
yeah.
and it kind of helps because everybody's monthly premium is different based on their situation. And so if they're, have health issues or they're older and they have to pay more, then they're getting more of a discount,
Yeah.
that off of their,
Yeah. I guess for your industry, discount's a good word. Um, Discount or savings is a good word for your industry. Yeah, so that's what you'll tell them. That's
okay.
perfect. So if you decide to move forward with, whatever, you'll get that will be discounted from your so like you'll basically have a credit or however you want to work it. And then like you don't even have to do like you got it. We just laid it out. You know what I mean? Like we don't
Yeah.
have to make it all so hard. Like I got to sit down and I need to look around no, just don't charge 100 less than $100 an hour. And then they
Okay.
have the opportunity that if they sign up that they get, that savings, that discount or that credit or however you want to word it. But all you do is go put it in a document and then start to like talk about it on social
Hmm.
in your emails or and then I would list out what a session with you looks like. So just give like 3 to 5 points. We're going to look at your retirement. We're going to look, I mean, I don't know what it is, but 3 to 5 things. These are the major things that we're going to look at along with we're going to have plenty of time to answer any questions, but it's a 2 hour deep dive to get you financially secure or whatever the wording you want to use, like get you feeling confident in your financial future. That would sell me.
I like that. And that's, and that's another thing. Like I listened because I did that with Taylor. I had a coaching call with her, and I need to go back and listen. But it's like, for some reason, like when I talk to people about it and they're giving me ideas and everything, it's like, why didn't I think to say those things? Why didn't I think to come up with those things? Like it's not this verbiage and this concept is not natural to me for some reason, but
Because we've been
I
doing it a lot
I don't
longer.
know.
We've been doing it a lot
Well,
longer.
but you haven't been doing finances and you
It
haven't been,
doesn't,
like it's just kind of like,
yeah, but you could bring
I
me
don't
any
know.
business. You could bring me, anybody could bring me any business because I've been doing this so long and I could regurgitate. So listen, I work with like a direct primary care provider right now. Okay.
Hmm.
I don't know everything she does, but I can come up with language for it based on what I'm hearing. So it's just
Okay.
a skill. It's not like don't it's just a skill of how to utilize words that feel good. And also I'm like very good with words. So it's like what I tell my daughter when she's like I'm helping her tie her shoes. She's always like, "You're so good at tying shoes." And well, babe, I've been doing it for a long
Yeah.
time. Like, you're 8, you've only been doing it a couple of years. Eventually, you're going to be amazing at tying shoes. So it's just a skill that we've learned through. So we could take, I'm sure Taylor can take any industry, just listen and then come up with things. And then also
Yeah.
remember, like, for me, God's always working through me. So I feel like I'm always getting the things that I need to say too. But it's really just a skill and you'll learn it. But you're new to all of this.
Yeah.
So that's also where I want you to be. Don't cling to like, why do they know that? I should have known that. No, you shouldn't. It's literally just taking a bunch of words and making them pretty. That is a skill that I mean, I also went to college for journalism. So it's just a skill I've had for a long time. That's all it is. So right? In journalism, you learn to listen and then tell a story. That's all I'm
Hmm.
doing here is I'm listening and telling a story. That's why you hire somebody to help you find the words, because that might not be what you're good at, but you're good at
Yeah.
financial coaching,
Yeah.
you know? So don't hang on the things that you think you should be better at. There's a reason
Okay.
people pay content writers. There's a reason people pay social media marketers because they don't want to have to try to come up with the words for their industry because it's hard for them,
Hmm.
but they want to show up for their clients, their patients. Okay. So I think that sometimes you pick out things where you need to be hard on yourself and you got to let those things go.
Okay.
Okay. Um, and the biggest exercise I want you to get into, if you do nothing else after you just write this stuff out and decide to start talking about it, even if it's messy, I want you to do more actual embodiment work. Get it out of the somatic as much and go into the embodiment of what it feels like, right? So you were saying earlier, you're saying the words and you're leaning in and you're saying the good things, but are you feeling them? Like when you say them, does it feel like they're available or does it feel like you're trying to make them available?
Yeah. And yeah. I'm, a lot of times I do. I feel like it's kind of a roller coaster, honestly. Like some days yes, some days no. And I'm ready to get to that kind of even part where everything feels the way it should, you know. Um, and
Uh,
it's just, I know it's going to take a while, and it's just like there's always
well,
going to be those bumps. But as far as like in this season of my life, I'm ready for some just a little bit of even keel.
don't get attached to that feeling. That's the only thing I'm going to say is when you're in business for yourself, if you can let go of that, not that it's not available, not that it won't happen, but if you can let go of like, I'm just available to feel, right? And like, I don't know, you're in a season of growth. And so the even kill stuff might not feel, it could be happening, but you still might not feel it right away because you're in business for yourself. So I
Yeah.
want you to really surrender. Like, and I get it. I'm in my 40s. I'm a single mom. There's a part of me that's like, God, when do I just get to like kick my feet up and like, but it's just not the season we're in. So let's
Hmm.
embrace the season we're in. And there is an even kill to it, but it's not ever what you think it's going to be. And it's like, there's all, because I say that to say there's always going to be the next stepping stone.
Yeah.
There just will be because of you're like, oh, wait, I want to do that over there. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, I did this thing here. Let me clean that up. There just is. So your evenness isn't a nothingness. There's always a wave. There's always motion to it. So if you can surrender what I feel you attaching to that as like a signal of success, it's not. Okay.
Yeah. And
E-
I know that because I mean I kind of did that with teaching as well. It was like, waiting for that year where things just flowed and there was no big ups and downs, and there never was.
yeah,
It's there's always something, a wrench thrown into the plan.
always. There, yeah, and that's like life is gonna life, but it's every time you have this stuff happen, it expands your ability to hold more. You're
Hmm.
clearly you didn't come to just there are some people, some souls that signed up for a pretty chill life and they get it. We didn't sign up for that for whatever reason. So if you can kind of and not to say you'll never get it, you will. Because it's on that desires on your heart. So I do believe that those desires are on our heart for a reason. But it's almost like the human journey is more about embracing that flow looks very different. And wrenches are ways that God sharpens us, ways to awaken us, right? Like I've had big wrenches and it was like, God was like, bitch, you need to wake up. And I just don't like to swear a lot, but I do. But like that, the wrench was my wake up. I needed the
Yeah.
wrench. So I could be mad that like my life isn't in flow, but those are the ways that it's trying. And it's also just to develop more and to learn more and to build our capacity and to so if you can let your nervous system rest in the waves, in the wrenches, and know that like either way, next best step, one breath at a time, one step at a time. That's all I have to do right now. That's it. And that
Yeah.
will, and I say that coming from like my daughter's dad always has me in court. I'm always talking to lawyers. Right. And there was a time years ago that my nervous system would flip every time I saw an email from my lawyer. I'd be like, oh God. And now it's like, okay, well, that I could make that mean that I don't get to rest in my life. Or I can figure out how to ease, right? And not to say that every day is like that, but I can figure out how to lean back and like, this is just where it's at right now, but I don't have to wait for that to be done. And I'm not willing to wait for that to be done to find peace or ease in my life. I just won't. I won't give my power over that way anymore. So
Right.
don't give
Yeah.
your power over that way. Just be like, okay, well, this is here, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
But really embody. So when you're like, the good things are happening and you're saying it and get in your body, turn on some music, do the tapping multiple times a week, embodiment, even if it's 5 minutes multiple times a week. I'm going to send you guys a bonus in your final email I'm sending out today about rampaging. And rampaging in your car for 30 seconds, it's just about getting excited, elevated energy. That is going to help you a lot because the only thing I think I see here for you is just really embodying your confidence in how good you are at what you do. Oh, you're frozen.
No, I had to text my husband. He's trying to
Okay.
call me.
Oh,
I
you're like,
left him
come
in bed
on,
this morning. Like,
yeah.
we didn't have a good discussion about how my morning was going to go. And I was
Um,
like, wait, I got to figure this out. Like, how am I going to fit in church and the coaching call? And,
you did it.
but I did it. I did it.
Did it.
So
Yeah.
he's still inside and I'm just sitting outside in my car finishing up. So
Yeah.
he doesn't know where I'm at.
Yeah. So embodiment, lots of embodiment. Like, oh my, it's right here. My first
Yeah.
client's right here. Things are right here. And it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Like get into the feeling state of that while you do the outside work of like, hey guys, I'm a financial coach. I'm opening up my financial coaching, right? Because people don't, I don't think they know that about you. I'm opening up sessions, reach out to me for a session. This is what you get in a session. We deep dive for 2 hours to help you build confidence in your financial future. My DMs are open. Start talking about it. Start emailing your clients about it. That's all you have to do. And it can be messy, but I promise you, you'll find your way through it. Because do you know how many, I have gotten on calls that I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I don't like there's been but I knew that I knew what I was doing, but
Hmm.
hadn't done it yet. Does that make sense? It's like
Hmm.
when I started doing team synergy days for business, I was like, well, God, I've never done this before. I
Yeah.
guess we're about to figure it out. So don't because you have the skills. It's not like I'm trying to go be a carpenter tomorrow. I'm like, oh, I guess
Right.
I'm gonna go try to build a house. It's not right. Like I knew I had the skills. You have the skills. It's just that you don't know if you can do it until you put yourself out there and do it to practice the skills,
Yeah.
to give the skills.
One another thing like I'm noticing, I have this desire of working with young couples, trying to help them at the beginning of their, married life or their connected life, um, get them on the right track. Like that's
Yeah,
kind of like my in my heart and soul right now. Like that's really what I want. Um, Not sure if that's going to pan out.
why?
Working through that, just because younger people aren't as, you know,
Financially.
willing to sit down and talk about their finances. That's just not something they're wanting to talk about
I would
or
disagree.
thinking about.
I would disagree. I actually see the opposite. I see more people now being aware that they need to get their financial future in check in their 20s because they see all of us that didn't.
Yeah,
So I just think change your perspective on that.
yeah.
I think if
So
that,
that, yeah,
go ahead.
I'm working with Taylor. Like she's like, set a time, market to that, market to that demographic, and then see if it pans out. Um, because of that's what I realize in my heart. So what I guess where I'm going with this is I've sat down with two clients, both in bad financial situations, set them up, debt reduction plan type thing. Um, but they like really have like can't afford life insurance, really have no hope. Like it's almost like they're not willing to make the changes they need to make.
Yeah.
And like I leave those meetings feeling like very drained and just like, ugh, like I get the just a bad feeling about it because so I'm like, I don't know how to make sure I'm pulling clients that are ready to do the work.
Okay.
Like if,
I can help you with this. So, two things. Don't make it about you and leave the meeting, right? So, like, I'm going to use the call as an example. I've got two of you on the call, and then I'm getting to who I don't know who iPhone is, but I think it might be Anna. Um, I could leave this and feel like, well, gosh, they didn't come, like, not everybody showed up to the last call. What the heck? It's not really about me, right? I'm available. I've given you the things. I'm here. And if people show up or don't show up and do what they want to do with it, it's actually not about me. Can we look at hindsight and be like, okay, what could I have done better? Maybe what could have worked? What could I be? Like, yes, we're always checking ourselves and checking our systems and checking the way our protocols. Like, what could I change or what could I not change? But it's actually those meetings aren't about you, right? Like you literally said it. They're not willing to do the work to make the change. It has nothing to do with you. You gave them you planted the seeds. That's it. That was your only job. So you taking it out of the room is just adding heaviness that you don't need because if they're not willing to do the work to make the change and it's scary because even though
yeah,
you've given them the map, that's like for all humans. This work is scary for humans. Don't make it about you. And then what was the other part of the last part of it? Oh, calling in energetically. Start telling God who you're available for. Get in your journal and start to write. This is the clientele I'm available for. People that are motivated to make a change, even in their fear. God, bring me the couples, bring me the men and women who are looking at their finances and make me a beacon to them that they find me so that I can help them. The people that feel like they're at a loss or feel scared, but really are ready to make the leap and have the faith to make the change, bring me those clients. It's just getting clearer in your energy about what you're available for. And just like, I am only available for this type of client. That's it. And don't even have to say what you're unavailable for. Just make it, this is what I'm available for, but you've got to get in and journal it out so that you're clear on it. And then another thing, when you're in your embodiment, feel those clients coming in. Okay.
okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. It's good to see you.
You too. I'm gonna have to jump off,
Yep,
if
you're
that's
fine.
okay.
Of
And
course.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. The chat will be open through the rest of the day. So drop in as you need.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right,
Thanks.
love. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Anna.
Bye, Amanda. Okay, she's already gone.
Yeah.
Oops.
How are
Hey,
you?
good. A
Good.
little hungover.
Oh, are you? Oh, yeah. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah,
Did you have a good birthday?
yeah. I had
Good.
my dance recital was yesterday. Crystal and Sarah came, and a couple of my friends came.
I didn't even know. Where was your dance recital?
Pensacola High School.
How cool. That's fun.
It was interesting.
Why do you say that?
It's my third year doing hip hop, but it was my first year doing lyrical, and I knew the hip hop dance better than I knew the lyrical dance, and so I didn't stress out about the hip hop dance as much, but I freaking messed up on a part that I knew.
Oh.
It doesn't matter because no one could tell, but
Yeah.
the girls behind me messed up because apparently they were watching me. I'm like, why were y'all watching? And the girl beside me, I was watching the video and I realized like 3 or 4 people messed up because I did. And I was like, y'all shouldn't have been watching me. Y'all should have learned that just because I'm on the front, the 2 lines that we were in, I was in the front line and the one beside me and then 2 or 3 behind me, that's their fault.
Yeah.
But, and then I was really stressing the lyrical because I've never taken lyrical before. And all the girls in the class have been dancing since they were children. So I
Mm.
didn't mess that up, and I didn't. But
Where do you take dance again? I know you've told me this.
Larita's dance studio. Well, it used to be Star Step. Miss Star used to own it, and then she sold it to Miss Larita. So now Miss Larita runs it. It's over by Catholic High School.
Very cool. Well, how fun. What a fun time to like do a dance recital on your birthday.
I know, right?
Sorry, I'm like getting over being sick and whew. Well, what's new? Talk to me. Where are we at in life on this final call? What support do you need?
Um, I think I'm a lost cause.
No, you can choose to believe it or you can choose not to believe it.
I mean, I know I'm not a lost cause. I'm struggling with. I think because I basically raised myself
Hmm.
life even since a kid, learning to cook when I'm like 8, learning to drive when I was 12 because I had to.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard for me to have my own discipline because I think maybe I don't know, maybe it's because I had to grow up too early or too soon or whatever and take on responsibilities and then it was like unintentional fight or flight my whole life, which I didn't realize that till the last couple of years. But I think the fight or flight put me in this state of mind where in my mind I was doing everything right. Like I'm not living like my mom did. I bought my own house when I was 20. It was a trailer, but back then it was a brand new one, and it was
Yeah.
I was proud of it and went to school, got a degree, did all the things. Well, I didn't go to school. I mean, I dropped out because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. So I just kept dropping out, and then I'd go back, and then I'd drop out again. When finally went back and got my AA in '98, and then didn't get my regular degree. I went back to school, I think in 2020. I mean, 2000, maybe one, I think. Excuse me, ish, and got my 4-year degree. Um, and then I became a cop, and I thought that's what I was going to do until I retired. So I didn't think I had to figure anything else out. And since losing my job, I've really just been, I can't say I think I spiraled for a while.
Yeah.
And now I'm working my way out of it. And I'm like, Amanda, I just want to get to where
Okay, take your time.
I just want to get to where I'm not struggling. And I have the tools. I have what it takes to get myself into a better place. But I feel so. I also have ADHD, so like I think it's called overwhelm, or I don't know what it's called, but I just get this point where I'm like, well, what do I do? Like what's the first thing to do? I don't
Mhm.
really know where to start. Like
Yeah.
even take even taking things seriously. Like I take everything seriously, but I don't. It's like I don't take my own self seriously, and like even with this, I put the money in it. I was like, well, put the money into yourself, Anna. You don't have the money, but just put the money into it and do it. And I haven't even like I've done some somatic work. I've not really journaled because I've never ever liked journaling. I don't know why. I like I like to get my thoughts out, but a lot of times I end up doing voice recordings or something like that. And I'm actually going to a writing workshop today. I'm trying to make myself figure out how to get it all out because I have a lot of stuff to get out. I have all these notebooks where I've written even since my journey started, like my notebooks from back then. I don't know if I was manic, but my mind was all over the place and it was like in so many different places at once. And at one point I had one notebook going for certain things and then I could be thinking of something while I'm writing and then I would pull up my other notebook and write that down real quick and then go back to this kind of write. I actually should pull those out and read them. But anyway, um I try. And anyway, all that to get to the point of I have the tools and I don't even know if the word is motivation.
Yeah.
I lack discipline. I've never had discipline. I think that's what it boils down to is I never had it. I never had guidelines. My mom wanted to be my friend and not my mom, so I didn't learn anything. And then I didn't have kids. So there's so many things that I lack internally and I know it. And I just got to stop making excuses for myself and do what I got to do. And it's just so hard. And I'm 51 now.
Yeah.
And like, what do I have to show for it? I don't have anything to show for it. I wanted to put some money with Amanda, but I can't even afford to do that. So
Yeah, not yet. Yeah. So do you think there's a part here where because you had to grow up so young that now there might be a little bit of like almost sabotage, but in the sense of like like I'm older now and now I want to play because I
yeah,
missed out on yeah.
yeah,
So it's about finding the harmony in that because that's what I get from you is like I had to be young, I had to be old so young. Now I just want to play, but it's like being an adult, we're not really in the season for play the way that we could have been in our 20s, but you were busy buying a house at 20 where probably nobody was doing that.
nope,
So you don't I want you to really try to shift your language around what you think you lack and look at it more like opportunities of growth. They're not, you don't lack it. You just might not feel abundant in it yet. You might not feel fulfilled in it yet. You might not feel confident in it yet. But it's not like a lack assumes that there's nothing there. There's something there,
there
right?
is there.
Yeah, so that's not a lack. It's just not where you want it to be. So you're telling the story that it's a lack when it's like, no, there is something there. It's just not where I want it to be. It feels so I'm making it a deficit versus maybe I'm at level ground with it. So start like really shifting that internal language of like, okay, but and just question it. Don't even shift it yet. Just say like, what if I don't lack this? What if I don't actually lack it, but I just haven't built a relationship fully with it yet? Right? Like discipline or devotion or guidelines. Maybe you don't lack it because there's a part of you that can't lack it if you bought a house at 20 and put yourself through school. You don't lack it, but you're just having to rebuild a new relationship with it and you don't know what that looks like.
Not
And
at all.
yeah, but you don't have to know what it looks like to build it. You really don't. You just have to feel what it would feel like, what is one thing each week that you can be disciplined about? What is two things, and then build on that. But you're looking at everything as this big overhaul. I got to do this and I got to do this and I lack this, I like this. So then it's like, of course you're in a freeze response. Of course you don't know what first step to take because you're looking at the whole picture versus like paint by numbers. Paint by numbers, just pick one color and we're just going to focus on that color. We're not going to focus on the whole paint by numbers. We're just going to focus on right now I've got pink. Okay, so the first step for pink is, and that one step, one breath. But when you're going to be an overwhelm when you're looking at the whole thing and feeling like there's nothing but lack, because then you feel like you're at the bottom of a well. When you're actually ground level, you just don't realize that you're ground level.
Sorry, I'm going to find me a notebook of my mini notebooks.
And then and with journaling, I mean, I think there's something there. Where are you doing your writing workshop?
It's at the Pensacola Liberation Center. I have a friend who, for a couple of years, she was hosting poetry night at different places. And the last place that she was hosting at, the what's that called? Subculture. I can't remember what it was before it was Subculture. It was a gorgeous place, had art and all kinds of stuff. And they would do DJs and
Oh, how cool.
and all these things. It was really cool. But she was kind of getting out of that because it was a little bit too much for her. But she hosts these writing workshops. I think once a month, maybe. I went to one about a month or two ago, and so I'm going to go to this one. It'll be my second one. So
Good. Yeah, so okay, so right there, that's a discipline. You like writing isn't really like you say, journaling's not really your thing, but you're taking the motions and the actions to move through it so that you don't keep identifying or telling the story that you lack. You know what I mean? So it's like look at all the things that you are doing, and then the not journaling, yeah, the fact that you're like, I've never really liked it, I've never been good at it. There is something, it's probably because there's a lot for you in it. And then I used to do the same thing. I would divide up my journaling. Like I would have this journal, this, fuck it, I just have one. It all goes in one. Because I don't ever reread them. Not that you don't, not that you can't.
yeah,
But I just need them. Huh?
I said I haven't either. I want to because I kind of want to see like where my mind was back then because it was
Yeah, every now and then, maybe like once a year, I'll pull out something just to see, okay, what was happening this time last year, this time 2 years ago, to see if there's a theme. But just keep it all in one place because it's all about like your thoughts in one place, you that day. Not you don't have to compartmentalize parts of yourself in different journals. That's scattered. So just like bring in, and that'll be a good energetic practice. Bring it all into one space, then that'll help you practice not being so scattered. Cute. But really like, what if I don't lack? What if I don't lack? And shifting that language a lot because here's the thing. There's a quote that I came across this weekend that says, like, we attract what we need to sustain the stories within, right? It's the tale as old as time. We attract what we need to continue to affirm the subconscious beliefs we have about ourselves. And so you're just being called to like really shift those subconscious beliefs, but it's so much like every time you talk about yourself, you don't talk about yourself well. You're really heavy and hard on yourself. And
so
you're
happy and hard.
But it's and the thing is what's so great about being hard on yourself is it got you to the version of you that survived alone, right? So you had to be hard on yourself for a long time. It actually was a tool that worked really well for you. So we love it. Thank you. You served me so well, but you're actually now debilitating me. The same tools that got you where you needed to be growing up are not going to take you to where you want to go. So you've got to lay those tools down. And like like you keep saying, I have the tools, so you've got to lay them down. So being hard on yourself is not working anymore. It's actually now of disservice. But at one time it was of service. It was of such great service. So we love it and lay it to rest. And in the somatic work, that's part of the work we do, right? Is pulling out those old stories and putting them in the golden ball of healing so they move out of our body and lay them to rest. But we thank them because they were of service at one time. If you weren't hard on yourself, I don't think you would have bought a house at 20. You wouldn't have made it through school. You wouldn't have gone back to school. But because you were hard on yourself, you needed that version of you then. But she's now pulling you down. And so that pattern, you've got to interrupt that pattern. Every time you start to be hard on yourself, get up, shake it out, move your body. We're not doing it that way anymore. I see you, I feel you, thank you, but you are to rest now. It's literally that constant, and it's literally just that. It's not easy in the moment, but it's simple in that like that's a deep practice right there. I'm like, oh, I'm being hard on myself. Nope, we're not doing it this way. Get up, shake it out, walk around the house. No, I love you, but no, you are to rest. And like buried to rest, like the way we bury a loved one after they've died. That's how to rest you are. But thank you because you got me so far in life.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I guess I beat myself up because when my awakening started, my brain, it just like opened back to all these things. And it was like knowledge that I didn't even realize I had. And I couldn't even get it out of my head fast enough. It just was happening so fast. And like, I have a natural investigator instinct. And it would be like something would pop in my head that would confuse me, or be like, why do I do that? And then my brain would go, well, it's because you blah, blah, blah. Well, why do you do that, Anna? Oh, well, it's probably because it's because you do that. And it would go all the way back to, it usually ended up something childhood, or a moment. I've never really technically been diagnosed with CPSD, but CPTSD. But when I started counseling a couple years back, she had said, it sounds like your childhood probably caused. It was like, sure, there were some traumatic things that happened, but your whole childhood caused trauma. It's like one large event, not just an event that causes it.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, I realize that PTSD isn't necessarily this visceral reaction to something that happened in your life. It's something that's going to keep happening over and over, and it kind of rewires your brain. Well, I know it rewires your brain.
Yeah.
And it probably is some of the cause of ADHD, probably.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody has a little bit of that thing in them. But I think trauma kind of spikes it and makes it worse. But I don't even know where I was going with that thought, to be honest with you. But it's not that I use any of that as an excuse, not even to myself. It's more like an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, when I was going through my awakening, and I started, all those things were happening, I just want to get back to there. I want to get back, because I was like, that's when I started figuring out I needed to, it's not like I've never been told how to eat as I've gotten older. I never was taught it when I was young.
Yeah.
I didn't learn anything healthy. I didn't even listen to my body. I just ate whatever I felt like, and whatever was good and soothing. And that's another thing, is food soothes me. And so I've had to work, working through those issues as well. And I have times where I'm just like, screw it, I'm just going to go get a 4-piece chicken nuggets from Wendy's because it'll make me feel good. But I'm not going to have the fries, and I'm not going to have the soda. But I can't. Those are the things that I've got to stop doing. I've got to stop doing. But on the other hand, I'm like, but I'm an adult and I can do what I want. So it's like it's a constant struggle all the time, all the time. Everything in my head's always a struggle, and I don't want it to be a struggle anymore. I want some fucking peace. But I'm getting there. It's just when I sink down into a self reflection moment is when the inner coach, who's an asshole, by the way, my inner coach is really mean. And I don't want my inner coach to be really mean. I want my inner coach to be positive.
Yeah. So that's why I call her an inner critic, because an actual coach isn't mean. Like a real coach, like
Yeah.
right? Like I'm a coach, I'm not mean. So it's your inner critic, and it's again, I almost want you to sit down. I think this would be I want you to like sit down in a meditation or visualization and bring that inner critic to the table with you. And I want you to have a conversation with her and thank her. Like, hey, thank you. Like, I know that what you're actually trying to do is keep me safe and keep me in check. And it worked for a long time. It really did. And thank you. But I need you. You're done. Like you're no longer hired for the job. You're complete here. Whatever you want to say. And I'm inviting in my true like higher self coach who talks to me lovingly, who motivates me, who shows me that like there's actually peace if I don't go get the 4-piece chicken nuggets. But like you need to have a visualization, a meditation with that part of you to let them go, to like thank them and say, but no, like no more. And then literally picture them leaving the table and like turning in their keys, whatever it is that symbolizes they're no longer, they're not here for that job. And then every time she pops up, because she's going to pop up, you, like literally again, I'm going to repeat it. Get up, shake, walk, say something out loud, tap your body, interrupt the pattern, say, I'm now calling in my inner coach, my higher self coach. Come in. God help, like whatever your belief system is, universe, God, angels, source, I need you to bring them in because I'm unavailable for the critic anymore. And then it's like you reparenting that part of you and then starting to talk to you or yourself the way that you want to be spoken to. But that inner critic, man, she's ingrained in you hard because of all the years it probably did work and all the things that you probably were told growing up. But they're fired, lovingly fired. They're lovingly retired, right? Like we got to retire those parts of ourselves. But that's the work. Interrupt the pattern, get in the visualization, talk to those parts of you, have a meeting. Hey, we're celebrating the retirement of inner critic over here. Thanks for your service. I love you. And like really tell her, like, I love you. Thank you. But you're not helping me anymore, actually. The truth is, this is not keeping me safe anymore. This is holding me back from where I really want to go. Um, And then, lean in, like your pre-work for the journey of me has that whole list of foods to focus on. So maybe like print it out and hang it up to be like, okay, is if I run and get the 4-piece chicken nugget, which is great that you're not doing the fries and the soda, by the way. Like give yourself credit. It's actually really great because that's a hard thing to do. Because once you're there, it's easy just to get the whole damn meal. You know what I mean? So give yourself, that's another part, like give yourself credit. Like, sure, maybe like the 4-piece wasn't the greatest and it was a temporary numbing relief. But I consciously know that. So I'm not unconsciously deciding to go get a 4-piece chicken nugget. I am consciously deciding to do it. And I know that it's going to alleviate something in me. That's way different energy than just doing it and not knowing you're doing it or pretending you don't know you're doing it. When we're doing it consciously, it opens up a whole new realm for us. So so then if you're going to eat it, fucking eat it and enjoy it, but don't eat it in shame. Right? Like we talked about, I don't know if you listened to that lesson, but it's like the way that you consume the food around you is the energy. If you're going to eat it, love it. Be like, God, I love it. You know what? I love this. And could I be numbing right now? Yes. Am I consciously choosing to maybe numb with food right now? Yes. Be so honest with yourself about it because that keeps the energy clean. And you'll get to where you won't want to do it because you're not lying to yourself about it, because you're calling yourself out. But God, if you're doing it, enjoy the shit out of it. Feed it with love. Like, oh, chicken nuggets, I love you. Thank you. Dance around the house. This is delicious. Like be light about it. Don't like be like, oh, trying to, be light about it. Be honest about it. Yes, I'm numbing a little bit and I'm gonna fucking do it. It's like, I have clients that don't drink and every now and then want to drink. Then I'm like, bless it and have fun. But if like, well, I just want to, like, I have a client that's like, I just want to take the edge off, then call yourself out. I'm having a drink to take the edge off because I don't want to feel right now. And then make it okay. But it's when you pretend that you're not doing the thing to not feel. You know what I mean? So still do the thing, just do it consciously. Because eventually then you're going to get sick of doing it consciously and you're going to be like, well, I'm just not going to fucking do it.
Yeah. And there was a brief time again in my awakening when like my body just knew. Like I would go to a restaurant and I would read over the stuff that I would normally would order and just be like, oh, that doesn't even sound good. And then I would get to like the grilled fish and the stuff like that. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds real good. And so I would order it. And then when I did feel because back during this whole time, it was the weirdest time. I wish I'd had known anyone that had ever gone through anything like this. Yeah. But I was so alone and everybody in my life was telling me that I was crazy and what's wrong with you? And you need, my own brother said I needed to be in a straitjacket. He thought I was on drugs. He thought I was doing coke. But like when I did go and eat something, it was Whataburger because I don't know why, if I was craving the salt, I don't know, because their burgers are very salty. And I would eat like a couple of bites and then I would put it up. And then later on, if I wanted any of it, I would cut off a little portion of it. I would heat it up and I would have it. And I would just be like, this is so fucking good. But I didn't eat a lot of it. And it was almost like I wasn't rewarding myself, but I was like, not shaming myself. And that's like, even during that little bit of time, just even changing my mindset. I wasn't even trying to diet or anything. I probably lost about 10 to 12 pounds in like 3 months time, just from little changes that I didn't even realize I was making. And so when I did actually, well, I fell out of that awakening and went in a couple of years of, I guess they call it dark night of the soul, and which I'm still trying to get out of. But
Yeah.
it helped me to reframe my journey of where I'm at now. Because I've 2.5 years ago, I think I added it up. It's January of 23 is really when I kind of just said, what everything you've been doing up until now is not working. You'll lose weight. You'll go on a diet or whatever and lose weight, and then you get it back. And if you don't change the inside, it's
Yeah.
going to keep happening. And so I kind of dug back to the awakening time, and I was like, well, just you have bad habits, and these are the good ones that you need to incorporate. So let's just chip away at all. It was the whole, don't try to take it all on at once. So I would pick one thing. Like, I was drinking a lot of Dr. Pepper, and so I had to, like,
Yeah.
I had to, for a while I had to just cold turkey that, because if for a little bit of a time I would have like maybe one a week or two a week, and I would allow myself that. But then I had to just cold turkey it for a while. And so now, if I want one, I just have one. I don't beat myself up over it, because I think I broke my addiction to it. But I'm actually drinking one right now, but I have to drink one when I have a hangover because it has ginger in it. It always helps my stomach. But anyway, I think I need to approach all of everything that's going on in just a little bit of a time. And
Yeah.
eating bad is not my only bad habit. The inner critic and the self sabotage. I mean, I just said yesterday that I unintentionally sabotage myself all the time, so that when I do intentionally sabotage myself, it doesn't seem as bad, but it should, because I know I self sabotage. Like, I am currently, I wouldn't say I'm in love with a guy, but there's a guy that's in my life. He does not live here, thankfully. But when I met him, it was unintentional. I was in my head about my self esteem and trying to step out of my own comfort zone and my own skin, and started talking to this guy on a cruise a couple of months ago, and he's married. And I beat myself up over that because I didn't realize he was married. We stood there and talked and talked and talked, and I never even thought to look down at his hand.
Yeah.
And meeting somebody who it feels like you've known them for years is it's an incredible feeling, especially when it's mutual. And anyway, when I self-sabotage, like right now I have him on block because he was on a on a cruise, and I knew he was coming home yesterday, and it was not going to be on my birthday. I didn't want him to be texting me like at the port, or in any kind of port where there's service or whatever. I just didn't even want to like allow myself to be listening for looking at my phone. Oh, a text went off. Is it him? I didn't want that. So I just hit block, and I haven't unblocked him yet. And I know when I'm going to, I'm going to have to figure out what my intentions are behind it. Like,
Mhm.
why am I going to unblock him? Why do I want to talk to him? But I just need to, I just need to get my shit together.
One step at a time. Yeah. But also give yourself credit where you do have things together. It feels like you don't, but there are things that are together. And then when you're doing the practice of, like, let's say the eating, you're eating well, and you're like, I have all these areas of my life I need to clean up, right? Is kind of what you're saying. When you're choosing it in one area of your life, you'll naturally start choosing it in all areas. So don't look at your life as like, this segment over here I have to work on, this segment over here I have to work on, this segment over here I have to work on. Look at it all as like one big circle, that when you work over here, it naturally starts to affect the energy over here, because you're one being. So who you are being affects all parts. It's not, you're not Anna here and here and here and you don't have to fix this part, fix this part. No, you're working on this part. So it's you working on the food is going to help you work on the discipline of other things. Discipline is discipline. You don't have discipline in one area and not the other. Like eventually, like we're more disciplined maybe in some areas than we are in others. But when you practice the skill of discipline, or like what I like to say, like devotion, because devotion is where am I putting my energy? Do I want to be devoted to this? Is this really where I'm going to say I'm devoted? Right? To eating chicken wings every single night? So for me, like discipline, I don't know. My rebel's like, I don't fucking care about your discipline. But if I think in terms of devotion, then I can be like, ooh, is this what I want to be devoted to? So what I'm devoted to over here, I might be more over here and less here. Like this might be the part that I have to work on. But the skill is the skill. The intention is the intention. So it's all in all areas of my life. So don't try not to compartmentalize that part too much because you're one being. So you work over here, A affects Z. You might not just see the effect on Z because the ripple effect is going to be slower, but it's still affecting Z, where you'll see the ripple effect on area C or D a lot quicker because it's closer. But it's still all affecting everything when you're choosing to be devoted to that part. So that's the power of the baby step. So if the baby step for you is really focusing on the food, then it's also going to be helping you with the money. And just decide that it's already helping me in all areas. Has to be. It can't not be.
It's funny whenever if I'm on the way home from work and I've just had a day and I'm just like, it would be because, Wendy's is literally just right down the road and it's on my way home. I would have to skip a light to go by it. But when I get into the turn lane to go home, instead of going straight, it's almost like I cheer myself on, like, you're not eating the shitty food and you're not spending the money. And so I've been trying to do that more, like when those feelings do hit me. I
Good.
do beat them. Sometimes I don't beat them, but when I do beat them, I try to like cheer myself on for it.
Yeah. And say out loud, like I'm being devoted to the newer version of myself. And I also want to remind you before we close, that you didn't fall out of awakening. You're just in the spiral of it. It's like we can't, I know the feelings. I know when we talked at Seville, there was a lot of similarities in my first awakening too, of like everything, the colors are brighter. Like what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does feel like you fall out of it, but you can't fall out of it because it's always a part of you, right? Like the awakening doesn't leave, but it does shift form. And there are like the dark nights of the soul. And then there are the confrontation of all the shit that we ignored for years. And I think that that's what you're going through right now is all the shit that you ignored through your childhood because you had to survive. Now your higher self, your soul is like, okay, but we can't go where we need to go in this life if you don't do this work too. And it will alleviate and you'll get to the point where this part, because I've been through this part, is more of a blip. Like, so it's not that I don't still have like days where I'm like, it's just, or whatever, a week, but it doesn't last as long. But my first one lasted months and months. Like, it lasted a long time. I was like, God, am I ever gonna get out of it? Like, so you're just kind of on the spiral of it, but you won't be here for long. And I want you to start to envision the light at the end of it if you can, okay? Like really envision it and be like, I'm ready to walk back into the light of it. And it won't, that first awakening, I don't know anybody that experiences it the same way ever again. That's why it's so special. It's just like, it's a rebirth, It's like, oh my God, I'm a newborn baby again. Like, holy shit, the sounds are, all of it.
It
But,
was,
but so don't worry try not to attach to going back there because you probably won't. But you're integrating all these newer versions of yourself. And that's what's going to bring you that peace that you want is that in all the integration that you're doing right now, which is big, which is a big for you getting out of the sabotage.
you just gave me a goal. Inner peace.
Yeah. And I also think too that there's a part of you, and I want you, if you can, journal about this or voice record about it. I think there's a part of you that life was feeling really good at that time. And I don't think that you knew, like, I get the sense that there's a party that didn't feel like you deserved life to always feel that good. And so I get the sense from you that you identify more with like life isn't supposed to feel good. I want it to feel good, but some part it's not supposed to, which would make sense given your childhood. So, right? So then we go back to that quote, we attract what we need to sustain the stories within. So if the story is that like my mom sucks, my dad sucks, life was survival, it's not supposed to feel good, it's supposed to be hard, then on some level you're going to keep recreating that to affirm that story. So start to think about the stories that you do want to affirm. I lack so much. No, the fuck I don't. I don't lack anything. I just might not have built on more of it yet. Okay? Cute little dog. Do you have anything else? Any other questions or
No,
hey, I want you to do that homework and that visualization, the meditation, and talk to that part of you. Have fun at your writing workshop.
thank you.
And just gotta interrupt those patterns. Tap, get up, dance, shake it out, and keep starting to give yourself credit. A lot of credit. Like every single day, I want you to look at the day. What am I giving myself credit for today? Where have maybe I didn't knock it out of the park, but damn, I sure did bad. Okay. Versus I didn't knock it out of the park. Like that's where you focus of like, didn't,
Should have done that. You should have done that.
yeah. So where did you get up to bat? Even if the batting didn't feel successful, I want you to focus on what you did do.
All right.
Okay. Well, I love you, woman. I'm here. The chat will be open through the end of the day, and then you can always DM me or text me or whatever. Okay.
You.
You're welcome. Bye.